I don't know who's going to be watching this, but I'm going to go ahead and redo my vinyl collection video. I've got enough new records now that it should be cool to go ahead and re-go through my entire vinyl record collection, so let's go ahead and get into it. Here's my listening setup, which I've showed off in another video, and then I've got some on the wall, which I'll have to show off whenever I get to them. Just find a good place to put this. That may be too far. Let's see. Beatles box here. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go through my entire vinyl collection, show you guys all of my different records. It's a lot, but I know it's been a while since I've done it before, so I'm going to do it again. Just need to wait for somebody to show up on the stream. Or I'll just go ahead and get straight into it. Let's see, just one second. Okay, there's my Maxell Blown Away poster. I think that's really cool. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and get into my record collection, starting with my Beatles records. Gotta be careful with those because they're old. Alright, my first record is Please Please Me by the Beatles. This is a 19... Hold on a second. There we go. Alright, this is a 1963 mono copy. It is not the very first pressing with the black and gold label. It's the, I think it's a third pressing on the yellow Parlophone label, but still, came out the year it came out, 1963. It's got the flip back sleeves, it's in mono. This record is in really good condition, so really glad I've got that one. Next we've got the Beatles' second album with the Beatles. And this is one of the only Beatles albums I have that is not an early pressing. This is a 1970s or a 1980s repressing in stereo. This is one of my least favorite Beatles albums, though, and that's why I don't have an original one. But it's in good condition, though. And it's from the UK, so that's a plus. Okay, back to an original issue. A Hard Day's Night. 1963 or 64, whenever this came out. Mono copy. A little bit of staining on the back, but in good condition for the most part. This is a really great album. I like this album. Probably my favorite of the early Beatlemania albums. We've got another reissue. This is Beatles for Sale. I think it's a 1980s copy. Yeah, this is my least favorite Beatles album other than Yellow Submarine, but still, wanted to get a UK copy, so here it is, Beatles for Sale. And then we got Help. This is a 1965 UK mono copy of Help. This one was actually pretty cheap. Glad I found that. Really, another great album. There's kind of some more staining here on the back than on the other ones, but it plays great. I like the mono version of Help, like this song, because there's a different lead. It's a different lead vocal take. Now we got where it gets really good. Rubber Soul. One of my favorite Beatles albums. This is a 1965 mono copy and is one of my favorite records in my collection. Such a good Beatles album. So many good songs on it. It's when the Beatles started getting real experimental. And we got this little record called Revolver. UK mono copy. It does not have the Remix 11 of Tomorrow Never Knows, but I like the official version better. But another great Beatles album. We got my favorite record in my entire collection. The UK mono Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Original yellow Parlophone label. There's the famous gatefold image on the inside. One of the greatest albums of all time. Really good. We have my 1967 mono copy of Magical Mystery Tour. This has the Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane singles on it. This is a 1970s reissue of the White Album. It's from the UK, though, and I do have the photos, but they're, as you can see, they're hanging up on my wall over here. And I bought some frames for them. They look really cool on the frames, too. I like most of the White Album, but Revolution number 9 is just not very good. Okay, now we got everyone's favorite Beatles album. Yellow Submarine. I like Hey Bulldog, though. That's a good song. Okay, my favorite Beatles album, Abbey Road. This is a UK copy. Yeah, this is the greatest album of all time. So good. And then here's Let It Be. An original issue US copy on the red Apple label. This is not a bootleg. Either you can see a lot of bootlegs of these things going around. This one's official because it says Phil and Ronnie in the dead wax. And then we have my compilations. Red, blue, and Past Masters. And I need to get my Beatles records back in the box. Oh, I'm also keeping my singles in there. Abbey Road. Okay, now we're going to move on to the records over here in the first cabinet. There we go. That's a better angle. All right. We've got the Beach Boys with Surf's Up. Surfing USA. Their second album. It's a lot better than their first album, but it's not my favorite. Then we have Surfer Girl. A lot better than Surfing USA. Little Deuce Coupe. I don't really like this one very much, but it was $5. Shutdown Volume 2. This is a good one. It's got Don't Worry Baby on it. Warmth of the Sun is good. It's got their cover of Louie Louie. Louie Louie. Oh, baby. It said we gotta go. Boom, 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 boom. And then here's All Summer Long by the Beach Boys. Their first really good album. I really like this album. It's got the famous I Get Around song on it. Great album to play. It's during summertime, which it's June, right? Sorry, no, it's July now. So right in the middle of summer, so good album to play. And then Beach Boys Christmas. Beach Boys Today, one of my favorite Beach Boys albums. The B-side is incredible. And all these so far are original mono copies, just for the record. We got Summer Days and Summer Nights. This is the one with California Girls on it. I have Pet Sounds, but it's up on my wall of fame. I like a lot of their early albums. They're just not, like, fantastic. They have some good songs on them, but if I didn't like the early Beach Boys albums, I wouldn't have them on vinyl here. I like them because I'm a Beach Boys fan, though. I've got Pet Sounds over here on my wall of fame. You can see Pet Sounds there. Original mono copy. I had to pay $50 for it, but it was totally worth it. And then here's the 2011 Smile. I love this record. So much better than Smiley Smile. You can kind of get a glimpse into what Brian was wanting to put out in 1967. Oh, hey, it's Vinyl Gorilla. How's it going? Glad you're here. I have not done a stream in a long time. I've just mainly been doing album reviews, which I'm going to have an album review. We're recording it later tonight, but it's going to come out sometime later this week. It's going to be the Led Zeppelin debut album, so be on the lookout for that one. But thought I would do a updated vinyl video, because it's been a while since I've showed off my record collection. Yeah, here's Smiley Smile. Good Vibrations and Heroes and Villains are great, but everything else is just weird. I like She's Going Bald, though. It's so weird, it's good. And then we got Wild Honey. This is the Psychedelic Soul album featuring Darling. And it's got a good Stevie Wonder cover on it of I Was Made to Love Her. We've got Friends. This is kind of their chill album. We got Nick's favorite Beach Boys album, the one with the best eyesight, 2020. This was the one that famously has I Can Hear Music on it. And a fun fact, that particular Beach Boys album has a song written by Charles Manson. Yeah, the murderer. So, fun fact for you. Let's see, I just saw a message there. Watch YouTube. He had a great idea. Putting the best songs from all summer long, the best. Yes. Nick, that's a good idea. It's a series we should do where we take like 2 Beach Boys albums and pick just the best songs. Like 2 Beach Boys albums that came out about the same time. And put the best songs and make one really good album with them. I like that idea. But, yeah, about that weird song. He wrote the song and, like, Dennis Wilson changed some of the lyrics because originally it was even more creepy. It's still a creepy song, though. It's called, like, Cease to Resist or something like that. Sunflower, one of my favorites of theirs. Very underrated album just because it came out after Pet Sounds. My favorite Beach Boys albums are, I like All Summer Long, I like Today, but then everything that comes after Pet Sounds, but before Holland. Those are great albums. But they did Holland, and that was kind of their last really good album. I like Beach Boys Love You, but it's a weird album. If you've ever listened to it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we got Surf's Up, features the song that was supposed to be on the Smile album, but the lead vocal was redone by Carl Wilson. I like the Brian-led version on the Smile sessions better, but that's just my preference. And speaking of Holland, here we go. Sunflower is your second favorite Beach Boys album. Yeah, it's a great album. I love it. Holland is really good. It's got Sail on Sailor. This is when Blondie Chaplin joined the band, and his voice is really good. The album photo was it's actually upside down. This is the actual photo. Hello. Oh, I am doing a live video. What is that? You got ELO? Okay, I'm actually live on YouTube right now. I will check that out later, but that's a great album. Sorry, my roommate just got a New World Record by ELO. I love that album.
1976.
That great. That's the follow-up to Face the Music that we already listened to.
$15.
Great. I love that album.
There was I saw an Abbey Road album for $30.
Was that at Josie Records?
It was at half price by my house, my parents' house. I saw an Abbey Road, but it was a 2009.
No, only get the 1969, or you can get an Apple or a Orange Capitol or a Purple Capitol reissue, but don't get the 2009 version. Okay. Sorry, my roommate came in with an ELO vinyl, and I'm really excited for him because that's one of my favorite ELO vinyls. All right, we got the Beach Boys, and you're welcome to join the video if you want. You can say hi to. We got 3 people watching right now. This is my roommate Tyler. Hello. I will get to my copy of a New World Record later, but we will listen to. We're gonna listen to Help later, and we will listen to that album because it's really good. This is the Beach Boys 2012 reunion album. That's Why God Made the Radio. It features a little bit of auto-tune, which I'm not a big fan of, but honestly, this is actually a good album. It's a rare album, too, because it's very difficult to find on vinyl. All right, next we have Bon Jovi. Records that aren't sourced for analog is crap. Yeah. Well, I got that. I have a few that are reissues, but it's mainly just because I want to own them on record, like my Oasis record. I've honestly only listened to the first half of this album, just for the big singles, You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive, and Living on a Prayer. I've not listened to the second half, so I have no idea if it's any good or not, but I bought this just for the big 3 radio singles.
You can look at your comments as they come in.
Yeah, you can look at the comments there. Yeah, they just pop up whenever people comment. That's my friend Nick. He appears on 9 out of 10 of my videos.
Yeah, Nick, let's go.
The second half is decent. Okay, well, it's good to know it's decent, but Bon Jovi, I'm more of a more just know the singles, and they're all on the first half. Okay, my next album is Boston's first album, which again is on my wall of fame. There it is. As my top favorite albums of all time. More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Long Time, Smokin',
Forgot Foreplay.
Rock and Roll Band, Hitch a Ride. Yep, Nick says he's not a big fan of Bon Jovi. Perfect album, absolutely perfect album. And we got the follow-up to Boston, Don't Look Back, which I think is a great album. Not as good as the first one, but still a great album. A Man I'll Never Be is so good. So's the title track. And hey, stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. We've got Buffalo Springfield. This features the big hit For What It's Worth. This is the album that first featured Stephen Stills and Neil Young, so that's a fun fact for you. If you're a fan of Crosby, Stills, and Nash or Neil Young, that's where they got their start. We've got The Cars, which I have a full review filmed of, but I got a copyright. I got it taken down due to like a 10-second video of me playing the Just What I Needed music video, so I'm going to have to snip the music video out and then I can re-upload the review. But this is another one of my favorite albums of all time. Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl, Moving in Stereo, and All Mixed Up. So good. Nick says I need to get Buffalo Springfield again. Oh, and my Buffalo Springfield album is an original 1967 mono copy. It's not like the very first press that doesn't have For What It's Worth, but I wanted the one with For What It's Worth on it, because it's a good song. We got the genius, Ray Charles, with modern sounds in country and western music. This was a #1 record in 1962. Then we got Chicago, which I have way too many Chicago records. Here's the Chicago Transit Authority, their debut album. Features, does anybody really know what time it is? We've got Chicago, their self-titled album from 1970 with 25 or 6 to 4. We have their third album. I don't know why their first 3 albums are all double albums. Kind of a bold move there, Chicago. Chicago 5 with Saturday in the Park. We've got Chicago 6. Freeform guitar. Yeah, I don't know what's up with freeform guitar, because Terry Kath is a really good guitar player, and he's so much more than just feedback and car noises with the guitar. We've got Chicago 6, the Money album, with Feeling Stronger Every Day. 7, kind of their dip into experimental jazz. Also features a cameo from the Beach Boys in Wishing You Were Here. We got 8 that features Harry Truman and Old Days. We got their Greatest Hits Volume 1, Chicago 9. Chicago 10, featuring If You Leave Me Now, which I love that song. I don't care what people say. It's a great song. We got 11 with Mississippi Delta Blues. The last one to feature Terry Kath before he shot himself on accident. And then we have Hot Streets. This album, people say it's bad. It's not as bad as people say, but like it's not good either. I mean, I like it enough to have it in my collection, but it's not one I'm reaching for all the time. We got 13. This is where they get really bad. How many numbered albums did they have? They're pretty much all numbered albums, other than Hot Streets. 13. Yeah, this album's pretty bad. It does have Street Player, though, which is a really cool 10, 12-minute jazz, like, kind of disco jam, but the rest of the album is bad. 14, this album has very little redeeming qualities, like Thunder and Lightning, but that's about it. Yeah, this is a promo copy. Chicago's Greatest Hits Volume 2, Chicago 15. The album cover is terrible. It's just a bunch of signs that say Chicago. Then we have Chicago's 80s stuff, whenever they get good again for a little bit. 16. This one has Hard to Say I'm Sorry and Love Me Tomorrow on it. I really like Bill Champlin's songs on this one, like Follow Me. We got 17, probably the best of their 80s stuff. It's got Hard Habit to Break is kind of the big one on here. Along Comes a Woman, You're the Inspiration. Sappy ballads, but they're good sappy ballads, and I will defend this album. Anyone who says that Chicago was terrible on this album, I will have some words with you, because they're not the same band they were in the 70s, but they're still a great band here. Although Terry's presence is sorely missed. We got 18. Yeah, this has the abysmal cover or redo of 25 or 6 to 4. It's just not good.
You're just going through all your albums?
Yeah, I'm just going through all my albums right now. Chinese, Chicago Torture. Yeah, that 25 or 6 or 4 remake is...
Chinese Chicago.
He said that the 25 or 6 to 4 remake is Chinese Chicago Torture.
Like
and
like Chinese water torture?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it's terrible. Like, it disrespects everything that's great about the original one. And, like, Peter Cetera left on this album. Like, there's, like, one good song on here. Will You Still Love Me is the only song I like on this album. I don't even know why I have it.
Chinese Chicago torture.
19 is a bit better. Robert Lamb starts to become more active again on this album. Heart in Pieces is good. I Don't Want to Live Without Your Love. I Stand Up. Look Away is the best song on this one. It was a #1 in 1990. This album it's better than 18, but still not as good as 16 or 17. Yeah, when The Razor's Edge came out. My roommate is really big into AC/DC, so. Okay.
Time for the rest of your C album.
Yeah, I will try to make it quick. All right, we got Clapton with Slow Hand, remastered copy of 2112 at Barnes & Noble, but you already have a... Yeah, stick with your earlier copy. Remastered... Your copy was, I think it's mastered at Masterdisc, I think, and that's a really good mastering facility, so stick with that one. We got Clapton with Slow Hand. Another record I've only listened to the first half of, but I like Eric Clapton. It's got Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally. So, I bought it because I like those 3 songs. I got it for like $7 too, so keep Clapton is always a good deal. There's another record I have with Clapton on it that I like a lot better coming up though. She don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. I'm gonna have to do it like that. Okay, how about Phil Collins?
You missed one.
Oh, yeah, I did. Face Value. There we go, there's Phil. John May. Oh, yeah, in the Blues Breakers. I'm referring to Disraeli Gears by Cream. It's the other one I like better. But the Blues Breakers is a good album, too. This is Phil Collins' solo debut album, Face Value. Yeah, the B-no tone. Back when Eric played Les Pauls. Yeah, Les Paul's my favorite guitar, so I like a Les Paul. Although Eric is kind of known for playing Strats now, but this has In the Air Tonight. It has a Beatles cover of Tomorrow Never Knows, which is actually really cool. I think my favorite song on here is I Missed Again. It's a really underrated song. And then it has a soul funky version of Behind the Lines from Duke. Wheels of Fire is your favorite Cream album. Cool. I have not listened to Wheels of Fire yet. I've listened to the Crossroad Blues from it, but not the whole album. My favorite Phil Collins solo album is No Jacket Required. If you watch my review on Genesis' Invisible Touch, you'll hear the story of how I bought this particular album. But really great. Some cameo appearances from Sting and Peter Gabriel on here as well, but amazing album. Here's the other one, Disraeli Gears by Cream. Very psychedelic. Sunshine of Your Love is amazing. This is an original mono copy. I wanted one for a long time. I finally got one for $30, so that was a good deal. Every other mono copy I've seen of this is at least $50. Let me go ahead and show the Atlantic label. There we go, just so you know. How about some Creedence? Creedence Clearwater Revival. We got their first album. No Susie Q sticker. So it's an early copy. It's good. It's just there are other Creedence albums I like better, but Susie Q and I Put a Spell on You are amazing. Mother's Lament. That's kind of a dumb song. It's a fun way to end the album, though. Bayou Country. Proud Mary, Keep on Turning. Another great Creedence. I love Creedence. One of my favorite bands. We got Green River, my second favorite Creedence album. This one has Bad Moon Rising on it. Willie and the Poor Boys, famous for Down on the Corner and Fortunate Son. And you can see Cosmo's Factory up there. And here's Pendulum. No Mardi Gras. I will not buy Mardi Gras. Jim Croce. You Don't Mess Around with Jim. Fantastic album. Kind of a singer-songwriter folk song kind of album. Next we have the oldest record in my collection from 1957, I believe. Bing Crosby's Merry Christmas on the Black Decca label.
No Mardi Gras.
No, I will not buy Mardi Gras. We got some Doobie Brothers next. Here's Toulouse Street. This one has Listen to the Music on it. Here's my favorite Doobie album, The Captain and Me. Oh my gosh, no.
What did he say?
He said, don't smell Jim's crotch cheek.
Oh my goodness.
No.
What corny.
Okay, we got what were once vices are now habits, which features Black Water. Then we got Michael McDonald's debut in the Doobie Brothers. I almost called it It Keeps You Running. This is called Taking It to the Streets, but It Keeps You Running is on this album. I like this album. Okay, Michael McDonald is good in the Doobie Brothers. It's not my favorite album, but I like this one. Ooh, and this is a really good album. Minute by Minute. My favorite of the Michael McDonald Doobie Brothers albums. And we got some Bob Dylan. Highway 61 Revisited. Let's show the label. Mono copy. And Blonde on Blonde. This is the first pressing with the deleted photo in it. Apparently, Bob Dylan took a photo of a famous actress, but he used the photo without her consent, so it was deleted from later pressings, but it's in that one. And then we have the Eagles. It's not here, it's over here at Hotel California. Everybody must get stoned, yeah. There we go. Hotel California by the Eagles. My favorite Eagles album. Still wanting to get some more of their albums, though. I want The Long Run, and I want all their albums, but the next one I want is The Long Run. And then I'm going to get One of These Nights. Here is a 2-record repress of the Eagles' Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2, which was the second record I got after Sgt. Pepper. And we got some ELO. Face the Music. I love this album. It's got Evil Woman on it. We got a New World Record. This is my copy of it. And then my roommate has his copy over there.
I'm gonna need some blue.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I didn't realize that it was kind of...
Oh, that's fine. It was coming apart anyway. Out of the Blue is up there, as you can see. My favorite ELO album. We got Discovery. I love this album, though. It's got Don't Bring Me Down, Bruce. Don't Bring Me Down. I love that song. It's got some other good songs on here, too. Shine a Little Love. Oh my goodness, Last Train to London. So good. Yeah, this is a fantastic album.
Is that also ELO?
Yeah, this is the follow-up to Out of the Blue, which is that one up there. We got Foreigner. You're as cold as ice.
Oh, that song's a classic.
Yeah. This has got some Foreigner classics on it. Cold as Ice. It's got Long, Long Way from Home. Yeah, really good debut album from Foreigner.
That was their first album?
Yeah, it's their first album. And then here is their best album, Foreigner 4, with Jukebox Hero and Waiting for a Girl Like You and Urgent and like I don't know, they're all good. This is a good album. I'm going to show some Genesis, but first I've got Peter Gabriel's solo stuff.
Sledgehammer.
Yeah, this is Peter Gabriel's So album after he had left Genesis. Features the hit songs Sledgehammer and In Your Eyes. I like the... It's funny. I actually like this better than any Phil Collins or Genesis album. It's a good album. Very 80s, but it's a really good album. Okay, now we got Genesis, and I'm honestly more of a fan of the stuff with Phil Collins, but I like Peter Gabriel's solo stuff, as you can see there. But here we have Duke, featuring Misunderstanding, and my favorite Genesis song, Turn It On Again. This might actually be my favorite Genesis album. That's a very controversial opinion, but I love Abacab. This album is so weird, but it's cool weird. Like, I can't explain it. Like, I don't know why I like this album so much, but I do. Like, this is the Genesis album I probably listen to the most. I just wish that they would have put You Might Recall on that album, because that's a good song. It ended up on the Three-Side Live album as an outtake, but I really wish they would have put that as the album closer instead of another record. We got the self-titled Shapes album featuring That's All and Home by the Sea. Oh, there's some really underrated stuff on here, like Just a Job to Do, Taking It All Too Hard, and It's Gonna Get Better. All really great songs. All the songs on here are really great. Even though Illegal Alien is kind of goofy, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine just because of how stupid it is. And if you've seen the stupid music video where Phil Collins is trying to cross the border, it's a dumb song. Okay, my last Genesis album, Invisible Touch. Yeah, see, it's a great album. People hate on this album way too much.
Why?
Because it's popular.
Oh!
Yeah. No.
It's overrated.
Yeah. It's got Tonight. It's got Land of Confusion. It's got In Too Deep. It's got freaking Domino. So
Land of Confusion's really good.
why don't you people like this album?
Because it's popular.
Because we want to be special and say Supper's Ready is our favorite, even though that's actually a really common opinion now. Supper's Ready is a 22-minute song about, like, it's weird. Not knocking Gabriel Genesis, though. There's some great musicianship in there. It's just kind of odd, to say the least.
Is it also Genesis?
No, this is George Harrison.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. I've actually never listened to this album. I listened to the first 2 or 3 songs, but I need to listen to it again. I want to get All Things Must Pass, but it's a 3-album set, and so those go for like at least $50 usually. So I got to find one at a good price. This is my favorite George Harrison album I own, Cloud 9, and it features the big hits When We Was Fab and I've Got My Mind Set on You.
I've got my mind set on
Yeah. Produced by Jeff Lynne of ELO, so it's a former Beatle produced by ELO. So I think that's really cool. I've got another album that's produced by Jeff Lynne as well, a Tom Petty record, but we'll get to that later. And then, Nick, you're going to be excited about this one. We got the Hollies with Evolution. Hey, Carrie Ann, what's your game and how can anybody play? Although my favorite is Have You Ever Loved Somebody? That's a really cool song.
Ever love somebody?
Okay. Now we are going to get to... I have a lot of J records. Alright. Yeah, it's insane. I promise it will not take much longer.
Don't feel rushed.
Alright.
I'm just...
A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. Do you feel rushed now?
You're very funny.
Alright. How about the greatest selling album of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller?
Wow, Garrett. You're the lowest.
One of the best albums ever. Beat It, Billie Jean, Wanna Be Starting Something, Human Nature, PYT. This thing is basically Michael Jackson's greatest hits. Except he has 2 other greatest hits albums called Off the Wall and Bad. So, check out all 3 of those albums. This is kind of an odd record, but it's really cool. This is Jethro Tull's Thick as a Brick. The whole album is one 45-minute song, and the album opens up and it looks like a newspaper. Let me see if I can.
When you get closer into the frame,
Yeah,
scoot yourself into the frame a little bit more.
there.
There we go.
Yeah, see, it looks like a newspaper, and you can read the news. You can read the newspaper while you're listening to the album. Nick says he prefers Bad to Thriller. I actually haven't listened to the whole Bad album, though. I need to. I haven't listened to the entire Off the Wall one either, but I listened to most of Off the Wall. What's the song? She's Out of My Life or something like that. That song was amazing. Now we got some Billy Joel. Here's his first album, Cold Spring Harbor. This was the first album I ever bought off of eBay because I'm so excited I got to choose whatever record I got instead of just digging through crates. I thought, I'm going to go buy Billy Joel's first album, the rare first pressing, where he sounds like a chipmunk. Bad. And next we have Piano Man.
Second album?
Yeah, second album, Piano Man. Honestly, the song Piano Man is great, but, like, this is actually one of my least favorite Billy Joel albums, even though it's got one of his best songs on it. There's still some stuff I really like on here, though. I like You're My Home. I like, what's the one? The Ballad of Billy the Kid, that's a great song. And I like, If I Only Had the Words to Tell You. But the rest of the stuff on here is just okay. There's much better Billy Joel albums.
So you like the song, but not the album as a whole.
Yeah, he was still finding his. I actually like his first album better, if that's even possible. Like his first album is really underrated. And then we have Street Life Serenade. This is not one of his better albums. It's still got some good stuff though. My favorite song on here is the instrumental Root Beer Rag. Yeah, it's a cool song. Billy Joel's playing the piano really well.
Is that the third album?
The Entertainer is great too, though.
Do you have all of Billy Joel's albums?
All of them but The River of Dreams, which came out in the 90s, so it's difficult to find any record copies of that album, even reissues. Turnstiles. I love this album.
Is that his best one?
No, it is not, which is a surprise because it should be his best album, but it's not. Say Goodbye to Hollywood, Summer Highland Falls, New York State of Mind, Angry Young Man, Miami 2017.
Angry Young Man is good.
Yeah, fantastic album. But it only gets better from here with the next album, The Stranger, his best album. I love this record so much. This is one of my favorite albums. Moving Out, Just the Way You Are, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, Vienna, Only the Good Die Young, She's Always a Woman to Me. Yeah, this is kind of like Billy Joel's greatest hits album. Another great Billy Joel album, 52nd Street. This is either his second or third best album. Big Shot, Honesty, My Life, Zanzibar, Rosalinda's Eyes, Half a Mile Away, Until the Night. Yeah, Until the Night is kind of like his Righteous Brothers impression. And 52nd Street, yeah, another great Billy Joel album. Great follow-up to The Stranger. Okay, so like these 4 albums in a row, Turnstiles, Stranger, 52nd Street, and Glass Houses is his best work. This is Billy Joel's new wave album. And it rocks. It's so good. You May Be Right. Don't Ask Me Why. It's still a rock and roll to me. All for Lena. I Don't Want to Be Alone.
Those are all good songs.
Sleeping with the Television On. Yeah, this is a great album.
I love It's Only Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
It's only rock and roll to me.
So good. I don't have any Billy Joels up there, do I? No. Okay. The Nylon Curtain. Billy Joel said this was his Sgt. Pepper, and I couldn't disagree more. I just don't like this album. I don't know what it is about it. Like, he's trying...
Sgt. Pepper.
He's trying too hard to be the Beatles on this album, but he's not the Beatles. He's Billy Joel. And when you're Billy Joel and you're trying to be the Beatles, like...
Work.
Yeah, anyway. That's all I've got to say about that one. We got Billy Joel's live album, Songs in the Attic, where he kind of tries to showcase some of his older stuff.
Is it good?
It is good. Some of the live songs on it are better than the studio versions. Like She's Got Away, definitely better than the studio version. Okay, I really like this album, An Innocent Man. This is Billy Joel making a 1960s doo-wop album in the 80s.
A what album?
Doo-wop, like do 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 do, bum 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 do 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 do, like 1950s, early 1960s pre-Beatles pop.
Oh.
An Innocent Man, For the Longest Time, Uptown Girl.
Oh, that's where that one up.
Yeah. Yeah. Great album. And then I've got Billy Joel's Greatest Hits. I more bought it just because it's rare than I don't really listen to this one. I just bought it because it's really difficult to find. Got it for like $25 too, so that was good.
Is that a good price?
Oh yeah, those are the Billy Joel's Greatest Hits is a really rare album to find on record at least.
Volume one and
CD copies are everywhere, but the record copies not so much. The Bridge. This is one of my least favorite Billy Joel albums, but it's still good. It's got a lot of cool cameos. Steve Winwood is on here. So is Cyndi Lauper, and of course we can't forget about Ray Charles doing a duet with Billy Joel.
What? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's
song?
that's the best song on the album, the Ray Charles duet,
What's that one?
Baby Grand. Running on Ice kind of sounds like Billy Joel's impression of the Police. I like that one though. A Matter of Trust is great. Modern Woman. Big Man on Mulberry Street is kind of like this big band jazz song. Yeah, so it's a good album. It's just not as good. Stormfront. This was actually produced by the guitar player from Foreigner. This is the one with We Didn't Start the Fire, and So It Goes. My favorite song on here is probably I Go to Extremes. Probably because I'd never heard I Go to Extremes before, and then I heard Billy Joel play it in concert when I went to see him, and the man literally sat on the piano during the piano solo. He turned around and he played the keys with his butt. So that's why I like that song.
Oh my god.
Because I can't get that image out of my head. It made me laugh. Okay, now we've got Sir Reginald Dwight, a.k.a. Elton John.
What?
Sir Reginald Dwight. That's his actual name, is Reginald Dwight.
Reginald Dwight?
Elton John is a stage name.
No wonder he changed his name.
Yeah. I think Elton was the name of a guy in his band, and he got John from John Lennon. So, his first album from England. Why did I forget the name of it? Empty Sky. Very psychedelic. It does not sound like the Elton John that we all know, but I think it's a good album and definitely one worth owning. Skyline Pigeon is amazing. This was his debut over here in the United States. Elton John. One of my favorite Elton John albums.
Self-titled?
Yeah. This one has Your Song, but it also has some really other good songs like I Need You to Turn To and Take Me to the Pilot, 60 Years On, Border Song, the first episode at Hyanton, and The King Must Die. So, amazing. Yeah, it's a good song. It's the album closer. It's a really epic song. Then we got Elton John's kind of Americana album. It's a somewhat of a concept album about the Old West, Tumbleweed Connection. Famously has Burn Down the Mission on it.
See?
That album is also famous for having no hit songs on it, but for still being really good.
Wow. It's crazy.
Madman Across the Water features Tiny Dancer.
Tiny Dancer.
Another great album. I like the song Madman Across the Water. I like Indian Sunset, Holiday Inn. Another great album. The Monkees. Honky Chateau. Yes, that's the name of the album.
Alrighty then.
It's got Rocket Man,
Rocket Man.
It's got Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters. Yeah, another great album. Don't Shoot Me, I'm only the piano player. I really like this one. It's got like a whole book inside of like photos and lyrics and stuff. This one has a Crocodile Rock on it.
Crocodile Rock.
But there's some really great deep cuts on here, like Have Mercy on the Criminal. It's one of my favorites on here. Which I got to see him play live, which was really cool.
Garrett's out here getting gouged by Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Ticketmaster.
No joke. Paid $200 for that concert.
Oh
It was worth it though. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
my. I should have stayed on the farm.
This is my favorite Elton John album. You got the epic 11-minute Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. Candle in the Wind is amazing. Benny and the Jets is great. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I like This Song Has No Title and Gray Seal.
What?
Yeah, the song is called This Song Has No Title. I've seen that movie too. It was a really cool song with a reverse guitar solo. I don't like side 3. Side 4 is good again though, with Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting and Roy Rogers and Harmony.
What's wrong with side 3?
This is not as good. Caribou.
No explanation needed.
No explanation needed. This is famous for having Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, but there's also some other really great songs on here. I like the whole album. I really like, I've Seen the Saucers, which is a song about alien abduction. We've got Elton John's Greatest Hits, Volume 1. I have all these Greatest Hits albums I bought early on in my record collecting. Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy tells the story of Elton John and Bernie Taupin as young songwriters struggling to get by. Rock of the Westies, very underrated album. Probably his last really good album. I lied, this is his last good album, Too Low for Zero. His best 80s album. It's got I'm Still Standing on it. And I guess that's why they call it the blues.
That one?
Yeah. I'm still standing.
It's Journey! Escape!
My favorite Journey album,
It's
Escape.
the best Journey album.
It's so good. Don't Stop Believing, Stone in Love, Who's Crying Now, Still They Ride, Escape, Lay It Down with Steve Perry's insanely high humanly, I don't know how you'd say it. He hits a really high note. Mother, Father, and Open Arms.
Put you back in the frame.
Thanks.
Escape is the best Journey's album ever.
Here's Frontiers. I love this album, but it's front-loaded.
Correct.
Faithfully, beautiful song. Separate Ways, amazing. Chain Reaction. If you've never heard Chain Reaction, check that song out. That song is fantastic. After the Fall and Send Her My Love. Yeah, all the good stuff's on the first
Back
one.
Talk is the best song.
No. Edge of the Blade is really cool. I hate Back Talk. It's so bad. Even Frontiers and Rubicon are okay, but Edge of the Blade is like the only song I really like on side 2. I mean, Troubled Child's alright, but all the good songs are on side 1.
back talk.
I don't need it. Back Talk.
Got him.
That sounds more like an AC/DC song, but like a bad AC/DC cover. Like Steve Perry was like trying to do AC/DC, but like really bad. No slide on AC/DC though.
I don't even think that's AC/DC. Raced on Radio.
I like this one. Not as good as the others, but it's still really good. There's also some songs I don't like on here, but what can I say?
It's the last one.
Not
before they
every
broke
album
up.
can be a winner. I like The Girl Can't Help It. I like
Wasn't it those full
Be Good to
album?
Yourself. Yeah, I've listened to this full album a lot of times. I like I'll Be Alright Without You, and I like Why Can't This Night Go On Forever.
And we have Journey's Greatest Hits.
This is a repressing. I don't listen to it anymore nowadays, but I have it in my collection because this album was high school for me.
Alright, it's time to go to the other side.
Ugh.
Should I move it
Back
closer?
in the USSR.
Should I move it
I don't know
closer?
why. Yeah. I don't know why the sound you were making sounded like the airplane noises on Back in the USSR. Moving from Miami Beach by Oasis. Didn't get to bed last night. On the way to Pennsylvania.
Did you already show me your Beatles records?
Yes, that's what I did first. Making
Alright.
sure that I didn't skip any of those albums. Oh, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. I forgot to show that album. Here we go. I love this record. It's so good. They were all at each other's throats, but they made it work. I showed that one already.
Did you do Pet Sounds too?
Yes. Okay. Carry on my wayward
Kansas.
son.
Leftoverture.
Leftoverture. There is a lot more good songs other than just Wayward Son on this album, though.
Nah, that's the only song.
I like The Wall. I really like Miracles
Pink
Out of
Floyd?
Nowhere.
By Pink Floyd?
Yes, but no. But yes. I like Magnum Opus. It's a really cool instrumental track that's like... It's hard to explain, but it's epic. We've got The Kinks. Greatest Hits.
Kinky.
It's got You Really Got Me.
Oh, you really got me going.
And some other really great songs.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Oh, you really got me going.
You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. Really got me. I like A Dedicated Follower of Fashion. That's a good song too. As for the Kinks, I mainly like this album, The Village Green Preservation Society. That's the name of the album, and it's a great album. This album is so British.
Oh my god. British.
It's so good. I like the Village Green. We are the Village Green Preservation Society. God save Donald Duck, vaudeville and variety. That's how it goes. It's so British. Do you remember Walter, Picture Book, Johnny, Thunder, The Last of the Steam-Powered Trains?
Why'd you say it like that?
Because that's how the song goes. Big Sky, Sitting by the Riverside, Animal Farm. My favorite song is Village Green. That is a really good song. La 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 la. We sit and think about the village green. Something like that. Starstruck, baby, starstruck. Some of these tracks are really weird, though. Like Phenomenal Cat and All of My Friends were there, even though they're good songs. They're kind of weird. Monica and People Take Pictures of Each Other. I love this album.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. No, not that much. I love it, but... Okay, it's Led Zeppelin time.
Oh, yes, sir! Get the lead out.
Communication breakdown! It's always the same! I'm having another breakdown! It's always the same! Oh!
You okay?
Oh.
You alright?
Led Zeppelin do be like that, though. Okay, Led Zeppelin 1. Communication breakdown, good times, bad times, babe, I'm gonna leave you dazed and confused. And my favorite, How Many More Times. We're gonna be reviewing this album later this evening, so stick around for that.
Ooh. Does that mean we have to listen to it again?
I listened to it earlier, so that I'm doing a video later tonight.
Led Zeppelin 2, let's go!
Led Zeppelin 2. This is not a Robert Ludwig version. Sound quality leaves a lot to be desired, but it's a filler copy until I can inevitably find a Robert Ludwig.
You didn't even go over the songs.
Oh, yeah, why didn't I go over the songs? It's
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker and a whole lot of love.
Living, loving, made.
And Living, Loving, Made, and Thank You, and Bring It On Home.
And the Lemon song, let's go!
Bo, 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 bo,
What else is on there? I don't remember.
Moby Dick, the drum solo.
Oh, yes. It sounds like bongos.
On this copy, it sounds like bongos. What else? Ramble On. How did I forget Ramble On? That's one of my favorite songs in the song.
Ramble on.
Sing my song.
Ramble on.
Here we have the Untitled album.
It's Zeppelin 4.
That's what everyone calls it, though. It's got Rock and Roll and Black Dog and Stairway to Heaven and When the Levee Breaks
Oh, yes, sir. And Battle of Evermore.
and Misty Mountain Hop
And Four Sticks.
and
Four
Going to
Sticks.
California
And Four Sticks.
and Forced, yeah, that song. Okay, we have my only John Lennon solo album, Imagine.
The only good one. I mean, what?
Well, there's another one called the Plastic Ono Band. I've never heard, but I hear it's good. But I don't know. All the Beatles kind of dropped off in song quality after they left the Beatles.
They were only good together.
like
except
they're,
Paul McCartney.
They're, yeah. Well, I have an album called All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. You need to listen to before we make that statement.
I was kidding.
Most of their stuff was better with the Beatles. How about some Skinner? Freebird! Leonard Skinner's debut album. It's got Gimme 3 Steps and Simple Man and Freebird and some other great songs.
Scared.
Skinner! My favorite Skinner album is the second one.
What's it called?
Second Helping.
Second. Oh.
It's got Sweet Home Alabama,
Sweet Home Alabama.
but the whole album is amazing. Okay, here's Paul. McCartney 1 with Maybe I'm Amazed. Ram.
It's also. Talk about Paul McCartney, baby.
My favorite McCartney album, Band on the Run. Original issue US one with Helen Wheels on it.
Nice. Can you get that off of the Discogs?
I know I got it at a record store. McCartney 2. I hate this album.
Oh, no.
I will show you why. Have you ever heard of Temporary Secretary?
No.
Temporary Secretary! Temporary Secretary! I kid you not, that's how the song goes. McCartney 3. This is the only album I've ever paid more than $200 for, but it's because I'm going to one day make a lot of money off this album because it's numbered in hand and it's number 307, so that's a low number.
One day you'll sell it.
One day I will make a lot of money. This is my listening copy of McCartney 3, even though I don't really listen to it that often. Hey Hey with the Monkees, the rare
Quarters.
Beards cover in mono.
Now we go to N.
I don't have any N's, oddly enough.
Let's see.
Oh. What's the story, Morning Glory? Oasis. I like this album.
Did you do Pink Floyd already?
P comes after O. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. I love this album, though. My favorite is Don't Look Back in Anger, and Some Might Say. Great songs. I also like Champagne Supernova. But I like the whole album. I like the whole... We've got to listen to... This is my favorite album of the 90s. Probably because it sounds like if the Beatles were in the 90s, but...
Have you listened to many albums in the 90s?
I have listened to Oasis, Nirvana,
Weezer.
and Weezer. We'll get to that later. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This album has Don't Do Me Like That. It's also got Refugee and Here Comes My Girl and Even the Losers. But it's a really great album all the way through. I like this album.
Rip Tom Petty.
Rip Tom Petty.
R.I.P.
My favorite of Petty's records, Full Moon Fever, produced by Jeff Lynne of VLO. It's got Free Falling and I Won't Back Down. And Running Down a Dream.
Oh, that song's so good. Oh.
Yeah, this whole album is really good. I'll
I'll
say I think I like the A side better, but still, great album all the way through.
Pink Floyd.
We gotta get to this one first. The Dark Side of the Moon. Great album. One of the best of all time.
One of the best selling of all time.
Was on the charts for like 30 years or something like that. My favorite Pink Floyd album, The Wall, tells a cohesive story. It's got Comfortably Numb. It's got We Don't Need No Education. But it's best listened to as a full album with the story.
Hey,
Hey, you.
we don't need no killer. Oh, it's time for The Police.
Outlandos d'Amour. The
Do you have all
debut.
Police albums?
I have all but one. The debut album by The Police came in 4 different color variations. I have the yellow one, but they also have red, green, and blue. This album has Roxanne.
Ah, you don't got to put
You don't have to put on the red lights.
Roxanne.
Roxanne. You don't have to put on the red light. My wonderful Sting impression. Next to You, So Lonely, so good. I Can't Stand Losing You is my favorite song on here, though. And Truth Hits Everybody and Born in the 50s is great, too.
Oh, better than Roxanne.
Actually, yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, some of them are. Roxanne is still one of my favorite songs on the album. I do not have Regatta de Blanc, unfortunately, so
The second Police album.
I like the album, it's just I still need to get it. But we do have Zenyatta Mondatta. Yeah, they all have weird names until we get to Ghost in the Machine. This album is Zenyatta Mondatta, and the album contains da do 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 da 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 da.
Serious?
Yeah, that's the name of the song, da do 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 da 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 da.
Where did it say that? Oh my goodness. Like the Beatles, obla di obla da.
The big hit on this one was Don't Stand So Close to Me, but I really love Driven to Tears and When the World is Running Down,
That
You
was
Make the
the
Best of What's Still Around.
Pandemic motto. Social distancing.
I like Canary. I don't
stand so
want to
close.
think about that. It's been 3 years. That's gone into a spot in my head that like I just don't want to bring up. I like Canary in a Coal Mine and Bombs Away and do 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 da da da. I like Behind My Camel, but I will never forgive the Grammys for giving the Best Rock Instrumental Award to Behind My Camel instead of YYZ by Rush.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my.
it's just because they hate Rush.
I was because Rush.
Yeah, they just don't like Rush. Critics have never liked Rush. I don't know why.
Because Rush doesn't like the critics.
Yeah, Rush is a people's band.
That's why.
Like they're all about their fans. That
That's
they
why.
want to give fans what they want rather than
That's
critics
why
that they want.
They don't like Rush.
Ghost in the Machine. This has spirits in the material world, and every little thing she does is magic. And Invisible Sun. There's some really good songs on here as well, like Omega Man and Secret Journey and Darkness and Demolition Man. Now we are at Synchronicity, my favorite of the Police albums.
Is this the last one?
Yes. Some really good stuff on here, like King of Pain and Every Breath You Take, and Wrapped Around Your Finger and Tea in the Sahara, and Synchronicity 2. And I like Walking in Your Footsteps, and I actually like Miss Grudenko. The only song I'm not too crazy about on here is Mother. That song is borderline unlistenable, but that is what picking up the tone arm and skipping to the next track is for. Other than that, it's a perfect album.
Mother.
Elvis's Golden Records. 1950s copy. Gotta have the king in there somewhere. Okay.
Now we're on to.
Next we have A Night at the Opera by Queen, which is up
Oh,
on the Wall
grab
of
that.
Fame. Features Bohemian Rhapsody. But
Is that their first album, or the only Queen album we have?
I have 2 Queen albums. Death on Two Legs is good. Blazing on a Sunday Afternoon. You're My Best Friend. The Year of 39. The Prophet song is really cool. Love of My Life. And, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody. Now we have A Day at the Races. Another fantastic Queen album.
Woo, Queen! Yeah, Briar!
This is famous for Somebody to Love, but the whole album is great. Got it for $5.
What?
Yeah. Steal of a deal, right?
Wow, that's pretty good.
All right. Here's one of Jason's favorite albums. Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. I've never listened to this album though. It was given to me as a gift, and I like it. I like All Night Long, and I like Hello.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
But like, I've never listened to the whole album, and I really need to because Jason talks all the time about how great it is. So I need to listen to that.
Do it for Jason.
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. We got the Rolling Stones, Between the Buttons. Very underrated album for them. I really like it.
Stones.
Love this record. It's got some.
Best-selling album of '83.
Oh, I skipped Aftermath. Aftermath is
Oh.
up on the Wall of Fame though. This is my favorite Stones album. It's got Paint It Black and Under My Thumb, but Lady Jane is also great. Yeah, it's a great album. Show the record on the London label. I already showed Between the Buttons with the hype sticker and the shrink wrap. The Rolling Stones, Hot Rock's Greatest Hits. I'm more of a hits guy for the Stones. I like a few of their albums, but I more like their big songs. Moderate fan of the Stones. Although I do need to get Sticky Fingers. That's a good album.
That's the one your brother has.
Yes. Rush. 2112. Epic album about kind of a half of a concept album about the future where creativity is banned.
That's why they didn't give it to him.
And hey, what do you think of this picture here on the back?
Rest in peace, Neil Peart.
Yeah.
I wonder why they didn't get the award.
because of that picture?
No, for the dystopian future where creativity is banned.
Oh, yeah, they were putting out a message to the record company.
Moving pictures.
My favorite Rush album. I need to get more Rush albums. I need to get Farewell to Kings. I need to get Hemispheres. I need to get Permanent Waves. So many. But this is my favorite one. It's got Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, and YYZ, and Limelight, and The Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, and Vital Signs. 7 perfect songs.
And a very iconic album cover.
Oh, and you can see the 2112 cover is actually hidden on this album. It's right there.
Iconic album
The guy
cover.
is holding.
Look at that.
Simon and Garfunkel, Sounds of Silence. Good album. This is kind of a beat up copy. Still glad I have it though. Sounds of Silence, Leaves That Are Green, Kathy's song, Somewhere They Can't Find Me. I'm a Rock. Some of the lyrics on this album are kind of dark. It's kind of a dark album. It's a good album though. Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Great follow-up. I love this record. And the last track on this album, Silent Night, 7 O'Clock News. It's freaky. Makes a big statement. Scarborough Fair, great song. Patterns, Cloudy, Homeward Bound, Feeling Groovy, The Dangling Conversation. Yeah, great album all the way through. My favorite one, Bridge Over Troubled Water. I have bookends around here, but it's a really beat up copy, like even more than the Sounds of Silence one. I got Bridge Over Troubled Water, my favorite of their albums, and it features my favorite song of all time, Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Period.
Yeah.
Even more than the Beatles.
Yes.
Wow.
Keep the Customer Satisfied is really good.
I hate that.
What?
I used to work in retail. I don't like it.
Did they play that song all the time?
No, it's just.
Oh. Oh, okay, because you worked in retail. It's a good song though. It's catchy and it's got a cool horn part.
Keep the customer satisfied.
And The Boxer. Amazing song. Now we got Paul Simon's solo career. Paul Simon's self-titled album with me and Julio down by the
Where's Paul Simon
schoolyard.
from?
England.
He said he was a solo, right? Was he part of a band before?
Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh. I don't know. Come on. Can you
I was doing Simon and Garfunkel before, and now it's his solo
I didn't know.
stuff.
Simon's not exactly
Simon
a unique
without
name.
Simon without Garfunkel. My favorite of his albums, Still Crazy After All These Years, features the big mega hit 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
Oh dear.
Great album. Here's his greatest hits. And here's Graceland. Oh wait, nope, there's one more. I've never listened to this album, One Trick Pony, but I was given it as a gift, so I need to listen to it sometime.
It shall remain unlistened.
I need to make a video, albums in my collection that I've only listened to half of or haven't listened to yet. Graceland. Great album. Features You Can Call Me Al. We got The Boss, Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. I love this album. Jungle Land, great song. 10th Avenue Freeze Out, Backstreets, Born to Run, Thunder Road. She's the One. Yeah, great album. I want to get Born in the USA and Darkness on the Edge of Town, but that's the only Springsteen album I've got right now. Ringo Starr, Ringo.
Oh, what a shocker.
Not a big fan of Ringo's solo career, so this is the only one I've got of his, but it's got Photograph on it, which is a great song.
He's writing all the songs, right?
Funny enough, you got Don Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote a lot of the songs for him on that album. Anyways, how about some Steely Dan? Can't Buy a Thrill.
Even in his solo career. Oh my goodness.
And George Harrison too.
Uh,
Do It Again. Dirty Work. Midnight Cruiser. Only a Fool Would Say That. Reeling in the Years. Fire in the Hole. Brooklyn. Change of the Guard. Turn That Heartbeat Over Again. Yeah, great debut album from Steely Dan. I guess it's just the Who album that we haven't gotten to there yet. The Royal Scam. Another great Steely Dan record. Kid Charlemagne. Great song. Caves of Altamira, another great song. Don't Take Me Alive. The Fez. Green Earrings, Haitian Divorce. And then it's got a reference to the Eagles in Everything You Did. So, and then the title track, Royal Scam. My favorite album of Steely Dan's. This is when they went all jazzy, but it's so good. Perfect album. Black Cow, amazing. Asia, my favorite Steely Dan song. Deacon Blues, also amazing. Peg, amazing. Home at Last, amazing. I Got the News, not amazing, but still good. And Josie, amazing.
I don't know if you really like the album or not.
It's so good, though. Here's another album I've never listened to. Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf.
To be wild.
I have no idea what that album sounds like.
What other songs does it have on it?
I don't know.
Does it have Magic Carpet Ride?
No. I guess I gotta listen to it. Styx, The Grand Illusion. Features Come Sail Away. And Fooling Yourself.
Come sail away, come sail away with me.
It's an amazing album. What's the name of this album? I know this album, but I don't remember the name of it. Pieces of Eight. That's the name of it.
Isn't it on the spine?
Yeah. Pieces of Eight. It features Renegade. It's a good album, though.
Is that also from Styx?
Yes. My second favorite Styx album, Paradise Theater. features Too Much Time on My Hands and The Best of Times and a bunch of other great songs. Toto. Oh, no. First we got Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. Great album from 1985. Shout, The Working Hour, Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Oh my goodness.
Head Over Heels.
Wants to
It's so good.
rule the world.
Now we have Toto 4. Rosanna, Africa. I won't hold you back now. Make Believe. It's a Feeling. Another perfect album. Here's my Simon and Garfunkel bookends, but it's in really beat up condition. It's got Mrs. Robinson on it. Cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson. U2, The Joshua Tree. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Where the Streets Have No Name. With or Without You, Bullet the Blue Sky, Running to Stand Still, Red Hill Mining Town, In God's Country. It's another great album. I'm not a huge fan of U2, but I will admit that that's a great album.
Weezer!
People are going to be like, why do you have that album? Well, frankly speaking, it's because I like the album. My name is Jonas, no one else. The world has turned and left me here, Buddy Holly, The Sweater Song, Surf Wax America, Say It Ain't So, In the Garage, Holiday, and Only in Dreams. There are no bad songs on this album. Who are these guys? Who? I really want to know. My Generation by The Who. It's got My Generation and The Kids Are All Right and some James Brown covers and this really cool instrumental piece called The Ox. Yeah, it's a good debut. The Who's follow-up album, Happy Jack. Boris the Spider is on this one. My favorite song on here is So Sad About Us. The Who Sell Out, with Roger Daltrey taking a bath in baked beans. My third favorite Who album. It's very good. I love I Can See for Miles. And I love all the stupid radio jingles in the middle of the songs on that one. Tommy, second favorite Who album. The rock opera about the deaf, dumb, and blind kid that sure plays a mean pinball. It's a Decca pressing from 1969, I believe. Odds and Sods, a great compilation from The Who. Oh, I need Who's Next. Where did that go?
It's up here. We won't get fooled again.
It's their best album. It's got Barbara O'Reilly and Bargain and My Wife and The Song Is Over and Getting in Tune and Behind Blue Eyes and Won't Get Fooled Again. Yeah, like, you just list the tracks off here and they're all good. Then we got the final album with Keith Moon, Who Are You?
What about
Who?
Oh, you don't have
I don't have it. I see it at the record store all the time, so I'll just pick it up next time I see a copy. I have to get one on the Brown Track Records label, though. Great album.
Keith Moon.
New Song is great. 905 is great.
Who are you?
Sister Disco is great. Music Must Change is great. I don't care. I like Music Must Change. It's a great song. Guitar
Do
and
people
Pen.
not like it?
It's just because Keith Moon couldn't play he was so drunk that he couldn't play the drums on that song, and so Pete Townsend had to do the percussion by walking around the room in some squeaky shoes. Guitar and Pen is my second favorite song on this album. The original version, not the remastered version. Love Is Coming Down, another amazing song. And then, of course, Who Are You? Who are you? I woke up in a soul and a policeman knew my name. He said, you can go sleep at home tonight if you can get up and walk away. And that's a terrible Roger Daltrey impression. We've got the Zombies, finally, with Odyssey and Oracle. This album is, I'm going to be very controversial and say that this is better than some of the Beatles albums. It's that good. Time of the Season, great song. Carousel 44, A Rose for Emily, maybe it's after he's gone. Beechwood Park, Brief Candles, Hung Up on a Dream, I Want Her, She Wants Me, This Will Be Our Year, The Butcher's Tale. Like, so many amazing psychedelic songs on this album. The last album I'm going to show is ZZ Top's Trace Hombres, but it's got a lot of scratches on it. And so, it's kind of noisy whenever you play it. I might try listening to it again, though. But that is my record collection. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to tune in to the Led Zeppelin review later.